Immanuel, God is with us. God is with us today. Immanuel, God is with us. God is with us today.
Hi, my name's Paul and I love the book of Isaiah. Welcome to this series of 4 short videos all about this wonderful book of Bible prophecy which we call Isaiah. This first video is called Isaiah the Info.
Immanuel, God is with us. God is with us today.
A bit of background about the book, and I'm going to ask 4 questions: where, when, who, and why. Let's start with the question, where? Where was this book set? Well, here we have a map. It's called the Fertile Crescent. Crescent shape here, the green, places where you could walk and live easily and take an army if you wanted to. In yellow, the desert, where it would have been very difficult to live and impossible to take a huge army. You have the Tigris and Euphrates River over here. You have the River Jordan here, Mediterranean Sea here, and the River Nile. So, let's look at the setting of this book. It was written in Jerusalem here, but let's look at the wider setting to start with. There were mega empires, and the big empire to the east was Assyria over here, a mighty empire on the rise, powerful, dominating everything. Over here, Babylonia, up-and-coming empire, soon, later on, to defeat Assyria and take control. And then there's Persia, the Medes and the Persians, even later on in history. Over here, of course, in the west, you have Egypt. This had been the dominating power for centuries before, a little bit on the wane. So, the major empires vying for domination of the whole of the known world. And here, on this little land bridge, you have Judah, the people of Judah and the northern kingdom of Israel. You know the story. After David, after Solomon, the Israelites split into the northern and the southern kingdom, leaving Judah and Israel. Friends for a lot of the time of history, enemies at other times. And at this time, the time of Isaiah, actually quite enemies of each other. You have Aram here, also known as Syria. Now, the interesting thing about the Fertile Crescent is that this land bridge was very strategic. These were the small nations, small but strategic and important. It was good that they lived here, because to get from here to here and there to there, you had to come through here. So it was good for trade and taxation and things like that, but not so good when it came to trying to keep the enemy at bay, when there was war in the air. So there was always threat, and the threat would come from the north. We hear that in the Bible, not from the east as you might think. Nobody came from the east through the desert. The threat always came from the north or from the south, Egypt. That's where. When was all this taking place? I've got some dates up here. 740, Isaiah chapter 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord high and lifted up on his throne. That's what Isaiah says. And we can date that exactly to 740, 741 or 2 years before Christ. 740 is therefore the beginning of Isaiah's ministry in Jerusalem. Then some years later, you had King Jotham on the throne, and then King Ahaz. 720 BC approximately is the story of chapters 7 and 8 in the book of Isaiah, the threat from Assyria when Ahaz is on the throne. And then later on, chapters 36, 37, 38, 39, around that time when Hezekiah is on the throne, there's another huge threat from the north. Isaiah, Sennacherib from Assyria coming down from the north. That is in the year 701. So we can date it fairly precisely. Isaiah ministered during the reign of 4 kings. Now let's look at who. Who was this man, Isaiah? Well, we don't know a huge amount about him, just really what's in the Bible. We know that he had his call, there it is, in Isaiah chapter 6. Whom shall we send? He heard the Lord say. And he said, Lord, send me. And then he gets his commission. It's not a very attractive commission, really. They will be forever hearing but never understanding. They will be forever seeing but never perceiving. Otherwise, they would turn and I would heal them. God gives that commission to Isaiah. To paraphrase, it's more or less, go out and preach my word. They're not going to listen to you, but do it anyway. So that's what Isaiah does. He has the commission. And then the court of kings. He seems to have access to these kings. He talks to them personally. And at least that's how we see it in the Bible. He has access to the kings and is a courtly member. He's even asked for advice from the kings. That's the sort of person we're dealing with. Isaiah. He writes his book. Now why? Why is this book written? Well, all prophecy is written because it is the word of God. And God raised up these prophets, not just Isaiah, but Jeremiah and Ezekiel and Amos and Hosea and all the rest of them, to challenge the king so that the king couldn't have free rein to do what they liked. He raised up these prophets to keep the king in check and to speak out to the people, to speak the word of God. Why did Isaiah particularly speak his prophecies? He had his encounter, and after that he couldn't say no. Here I am, Lord, send me. He was told to encourage the people. They were under threat from the north especially, and the people needed encouragement. So he has this great message, which we'll learn about in the next video. And then to exhort, to challenge the people, to exhort them to behave and obey as God wanted them to. So that really is Isaiah the info, just a brief little snippet. Next time we'll be talking about Isaiah the insights. So join me for that. Let me finish with a short poem. Lift your eyes higher to the wonders in Isaiah. Let your heart be stirred by the power of this word.
Immanuel.